Well, hello there, and welcome to a new series. This has been something that I have gone back and forth on for well over a year. I first made a teaser for this last April, but due to unforeseen events in my own life, as well as serious writer's block, I kept putting this back on the shelf. For those who have been with my channel since the early days, you will no doubt remember my various Reddit videos, and of course the Carl H video being the one responsible for how many of you discovered my channel. Ever since then, I have had many of you reach out to me asking when I was going to cover another Reddit story. And while I wanted to, the problem that I was having was that I simply couldn't find ones out there that had enough material to dedicate an entire video to. Well, that is when I had the idea to take the countless Reddit posts I have come across and simply throw them into one video. The idea from last year, with some slight changes made, has brought me, us, to now. You are about to see the first in a series that truly has no end. A series on the dark and disturbing side of Reddit. This is very much a passion project for me, as it felt like treading old ground for myself and finding stories from Reddit that so many of you seem to enjoy. Some of these stories will have no solid ending and may drive you to need to know what happened. And if you are one of those people, then I encourage you to try to find the answers yourself. Do some digging. You never know what you could end up finding. Others will have conclusions, yet questions may remain. There will be no exact theme to this series, as you will come to find out. I have picked stories for this first entry based on what really stuck with me days or even weeks after reading them. Without any more rambling, let us begin our first venture into Reddit rabbit holes. If you have ever watched a horror movie, then you no doubt have been one of those people who have yelled at the TV in annoyance and frustration that the soon-to-be victim is running right into the monster's trap, or that one character is clearly ignoring every possible sign to get out of the house when something obviously isn't right. But for most of us, we are shouting these commands from the comfort of our home, where we know we are safe. Rarely do we ever find ourselves in dangerous situations and react how we think we would. Some will freeze in fear, and others will need to know what is happening because not knowing could be far worse. This is exactly the situation that Redditor Eberenger found himself in when he made a post describing something straight out of a horror movie. The disturbing things I've been finding in my spare room. Hello, and apologies for my quick introduction. I'm scared and confused about what's happening, and I need help. A friend said I should post this here, though I'm a realtor, not a Redditor. I'm desperate for answers, however, and if anybody can help me understand any of this, this is worth explaining my situation publicly. I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I frankly have no idea where to turn for answers. I rent out apartments throughout Manhattan and Brooklyn, occasionally making a decent fee, but I'm honestly not cut out for this business. I see families in need and I try my best to help them, not shake them down for as much as possible, like many others in this industry. At any rate, I recently moved into a 2-bedroom unit to clean it up and live at until next month, when I'm signing a year lease for my new space. I've been here for about a week, just getting everything unpacked and trying to get to work on some simple repairs. I won't bore you with the maintenance work. Nothing of note happened until I heard the noises coming from the second bathroom, which is vacant. I bought a queen-size bed and frame, but aside from that, the room has been empty. A few nights ago, however, I heard a strange, almost digital rumble, first thinking it to be the upstairs neighbors shifting furniture, but as I rose to perhaps knock on the ceiling lightly, I realized that it was coming from the other room. The second bedroom faces a busy street, so I almost associated the noise to traffic or some poorly scheduled construction. But the closer I walked to the closed door, the more I was positive the sounds were emanating from within. A bit nervous someone had somehow climbed up to the second story, I pulled a kitchen knife from the box of cutlery and approached the door, completely confused by the droning, electric-sounding hum. I twisted the knob and kicked the door in, knife raised in defense, and my bewilderment magnified. The windows were all closed and locked. Nobody was in there, and the sound was instantly gone upon cracking the door open. But my stomach jumped to my throat in the grim discovery of what was on the floor. There was a severed thumb, wet blood on the fleshy pulp protruding from the clean slice. I nearly vomited, backing out as horror flooded my mind. I returned to take a few photos and a video of the thumb, careful not to touch it. Additionally, the storage compartment above the closet door was wide open, though it had been closed when I'd last been in there, and there is absolutely nothing inside. No false panels or false walls. I checked repeatedly after the ordeal. Here's the video I took with my phone. It is a bit graphic. Unfortunately, but unsurprisingly, the video of the thumb has been removed from YouTube. I checked under the bed. I scoured every nook, corner, and cranny, but nothing was in there at all. There were no holes in the wall, windows, ceilings, or floors whatsoever. I called the police and they came by in a drawn-out ordeal of angered neighbors with half a dozen people asking me questions, and after answering all of them, they took the info of the building owner as well as mine and a few neighbors. Eventually, after all of the statements and photos were taken, the sobering experience ended as uniformed officers shuffled down the stairs to head out. After thanking me for my cooperation, the remaining detectives suggested changing my locks, but I know for a fact nobody came or went. My bedroom is directly next to the apartment entrance near my television, and it stays locked and deadbolted. Hours after the police had vacated the apartment, I was still unable to sleep, knowing something impossible seemed to have occurred. The next few days were mostly uneventful, but I kept that second bedroom door shut and I kept busy at the office, staying later than usual to limit my time spent at the home that no longer felt like one. I ate meals out, lingered in coffee shops searching for clues or other anomalies of the sort, but finding very little online about anything remotely like my situation. Mainly just thefts gone wrong and fast food nightmares as search results. Last night, I heard it again, and I took my phone out to record it. I approached the growing, peculiar hum from behind the second room's door as unease built in my gut. There was a faint smell. I couldn't quite place it, but it reminded me of summer before I could identify it. The smell of chlorine, or perhaps ozone, was barely distinguishable, faintly lingering in the air. As I approached the bedroom door to that bizarre sound, I opened the door and the sound ceased immediately as it opened. And there, on the floor, nearly in the same spot as the thumb, was a cracked cell phone. The cabinet above the closet that leads to absolutely nothing, with no false back of any sort, once again was open. As anxiety had been fraying my nerves, I rented a hotel to stay the night. But curiosity got the better of me, and I plugged in that smashed phone, which was drained of battery before taking off. Here's the sound and phone. Today, I returned to the apartment with a queasy feeling, but powered through the process of starting the phone and searching for clues. There were no calls or text, and the very few contacts saved in the list were incomplete numbers: 14344, 12824, 143, etc. There were no photos, but there were 2 videos, which I watched in revulsion and horror. The first showed some fleshy mass that almost resembled a face devoid of eyes behind transparent plastic, gnashing teeth or moving in frantic bursts as that awful sound screamed. The second clip is the second bedroom door opening from the inside, aimed towards my room, with my bedroom door open. The most unsettling thing about the second part of that clip is that out of habit, I only leave my bedroom door open when I'm there. This was the end of the post made by Eberenger. As of this upload, he has made no further post on his Reddit account, which gives a very sinister feeling to all of it, knowing that there could have been someone or something living in the apartment. Now, I will go on ahead and say that this could very easily be faked. On top of that, something that did somewhat throw up a red flag for me was that this was posted to r/nosleep, which has a reputation of having good, yet fictitious stories all over it. Many creepypasta channels get their material from NoSleep, if that tells you anything. With the lack of any actual conclusion, it is both frustrating, yet creepy, that we never heard anything back from OP after the video of someone clearly in the apartment with him. The creepier part to me was that short clip of what appeared to be a decomposing corpse wrapped in a plastic bag. It actually sent chills down my spine, which doesn't happen often, but that one got me. I did examine it to see if I could tell for any signs of it being fake, but I couldn't find any. Granted, again, this could have easily been faked, but if it's not, and OP did find himself wrapped up with something demonic, or a very disturbed person, is anyone's guess. I checked out the YouTube channel linked to OP and found that there is no content available to the public, and that the videos he did share were marked as unlisted. And with the absence of any social media accounts, it seems that this post will remain, at least for the time being, in this state of unknown limbo. If this was a hoax, then props to OP for making something I found genuinely creepy. But if this wasn't staged, and it was real, then I hope OP was able to get out of that apartment before it was too late. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. I get asked a lot from members of our growing community how I make videos and where to get started on learning valuable skills to make it happen. For over a year, I have been using Skillshare to accomplish those goals of mine, and I have told others to do the exact same, if they really want to make their videos their own. A lot of the creative process that goes into content creation are those wild and fun ideas you have when brainstorming the next topic and what you want to include in that video. And with Skillshare, I can make those ideas into a reality by learning exactly how to accomplish them. Skillshare, for those unaware, is an online learning classroom for practically anything that you can think of. Web development, photography, finance, music, and even productivity skills are all accessible in different courses offered through Skillshare. It gets even better when you realize that these courses are taught by experts in their field and that they take you step by step, teaching you exactly what they know. With thousands of online classes and members in over 150 countries, and along with that, all Skillshare tutorials are ad-free and updated weekly, so you can always keep your skills sharp and continue growing your knowledge of whatever you'd like. So, if this sounds like something you've been searching for, visit the link in the description. The first 1,000 people to use this link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Now, back to the video. Reddit is a go-to place for many people when it comes to getting something off their chest, needing more information on a particular subject, or wanting the advice of a completely unbiased stranger. I myself have used various communities with getting help on things spanning from computer questions to minuscule things such as video game collectibles. No matter the importance of your question, you have a good chance of either finding the answer to your question or at the very least being pointed in the right direction of finding out what you need to know. This is what user mutualbutterfly may have thought when she made a post on r/creepy encounters. I think I found a hidden camera in my friend's bathroom. I'm staying at my friend's house for the weekend to spend time with him while he's back from college. He currently lives with his family, mom, dad, and younger sister. While I was using the bathroom, I looked over to the right and noticed a black square adapter plugged into the wall facing me directly. I looked closer and noticed a black hole in the middle, kind of looking like a camera. I don't know if it's exactly a camera or just a small hidden LED light to show if something is charging. I then noticed that it was connected to a cord leading to what looks like a white charging block, but I honestly don't know what it could be. If it's a camera, it caught me staring at it and taking photos, so I'm a bit nervous. Plus, I'm female. It's scary to think someone could be recording me and could be posting it online for some money. I know he's not the type of person to stalk on somebody, but also he hasn't even been home for that long, so I think it might be his father's. I want to bring it up to him and ask about it, but I want to make sure that I'm not overreacting. I have photos of the adapter if anyone is interested in helping. I'll gladly send photos to help. Update 1. Wow, so I was not expecting this much help. Thank all of you so much. I'm currently still here at his house and waiting for my roommate to pick me up to take me home. I currently don't have a car. If I did, I'd be gone by now. But she is aware of the situation and is just as interested as me and scared. I do have one issue. When I woke up to use the bathroom, I passed by the father's/mother's room and noticed what looks like a frantically thrown around room with cords all over the bed. I may just be overlooking and this could be someone looking for their charger, but again, I felt it was important to say this. To answer some questions, yes, the back of the adapter had a weird set of numbers with power adapter model S3 on top of it. When I put those words into Google, it did come up with a recommended search for cameras. So again, I don't know if I'm just overlooking everything simply because I'm paranoid, but if any of you saw that and know what this means, please let me know. Thank you. Another question/misunderstanding is that it was in the bathroom facing directly to the side of me, but did show the whole shower. Meaning, if this is a camera, it's been recording people taking showers, not just taking shits. Some back info on the family. My friend I've known for a very long time is fully gay, and there's mostly women in this house all the time when my friend isn't here in college. Unless he's snooping on his father, but I really doubt that. But I honestly think it's more likely the father. He does give me weird vibes. And as for the younger sister, I think she's around 15, so if this is a camera, I will be infuriated. Yes, because I was recorded, but the moment I see others were, especially the younger sister, I won't be able to shut my mouth when it comes to confrontation. And yes, the family knew ahead of time I was visiting, if this helps. I don't have an Android phone, but my mom does, so I will probably use hers and see if I can detect the camera. Lastly, when I took the adapter, I also took the cords connected to it and the white block connected to the cord. Feel free to message me if you have any more questions. I'll try to update as much as I can, but I've noticed that the thread is locked, which I don't understand. I'm not new to Reddit, but this is the first time I posted something serious. But again, thank you. It means a lot of people care, and I will update once I get home. It may take me a while since I'm going to be running errands before going home, but I will update you all in a bit. Update 2. I finally left, guys, and it's a camera. I took off the sticker on the back of the adapter, and there's an SD card. Here's a picture of it. When I popped out the SD card, there's an A written on it. It's 32 gigabytes as well. I'm freaked out. Here's a pic of what it looks like. Unfortunately, much like the same with the first story, the pictures that OP has posted are no longer available. I am freaking out. I told my friend and he is in so much distress. He's scared. I told him everything, including how I posted this on Reddit. Him and his mother want to see what's on it and take it to the police. Update 3. Hey everyone, I'm sorry for the late reply, but I have some important info. So yes, we found proof of it being a camera and saw the footage on the camera with an SD reader that you plug into your phone. I told my friend and he decided to tell his mother to ask on what to do, and she was completely distraught. She immediately contacted a friend who happens to be a lawyer for some advice, and she advised that we take it to authorities, and we are planning to. While browsing the footage, we noticed that it wasn't anything too revealing. And yes, I know it's still illegal to record anyone without their permission or knowledge, but it still helped us deal with everything a bit better. My friend decided to confront his father about it, but he admits a friend from his job loaned it to him a year ago, but quickly quit the company after suing the company after an injury and fleeing the country after receiving his money. Now we are currently trying to find proof that this exchange ever happened, and it could be that this man knowingly gave an older man with a younger daughter and son a hidden camera to capture them, and maybe sell them online. Allegedly, in theory, don't come for me. Now, for what was on the card was over 70 videos, and different amounts of footage in folders. Only one folder had the videos, but there was a WhatsApp folder that was empty, which was weird. A lot of it was black, just showing the candle burning all day, but it did capture people using the bathroom. I will try to keep updating things as I go, but this is a lot to uncover for me. I'm still in denial about this, so I'm just going on my own pace, as well as my friend's family. My friend said that his dad was really upset once he was told that his daughter, wife, and son were possibly recorded. So I don't know. Take that as you will. Now, that is a lot to unpack. But as we have just learned, OP was staying at her friend's house when she came across what she thinks is a camera in the bathroom, and that it could have been recording herself and her friend's family members. This goes without saying as to why this is highly disturbing, and for myself and many of my friends, is a massive fear when staying at hotels or Airbnbs. I find it even more disturbing that this was at her friend's house, and it just makes the situation feel so much more violating when it comes from people that you trust. OP goes on to explain what the camera looks like, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, the pictures that she links do not work, so I have no way of telling what kind it is. She does go on to describe that the contents from the SD card were not anything too revealing, so I am assuming that she means nobody was recorded showering. OP does make a solid point, however, that being recorded without permission is illegal nonetheless. The entire situation that she has found herself in are the nightmares of many people. Cameras are getting smaller and smaller, and the digital age that we all live in now, it shouldn't come as a shock that cameras can now simply resemble a charging block. Something most all of us see every day and never give a second thought to. When OP goes into more detail and that she knows it couldn't have been her friend, and from there eliminating all from suspicion except the father, we get the story that OP's friend's father got the camera from a co-worker who shortly after fled the country. It is presented from the father's point of view that he didn't know it was a camera and simply thought that it was a charging block. And while that could very well be the case, it also is far too suspect to simply accept it without question. For a while after this, OP was doing her best to respond to all of the comments that she was getting on her post, with some telling her that the father seems suspicious, and others telling her that she needs to simply take the camera to the police. OP's reaction to this is what really stands out to me as genuine. Nobody would ever want to be in a situation like this, but given that she was, and on top of that, from people that she knows and trusts, it makes it that much worse. I can see why at the end of her post she said she was going to do this at her own pace, because if it were me, I would not know where to start either. Do you go to the police, or do you simply try to move on and not cause a scene? It could be incredibly conflicting for someone, and I understand why OP needed to process the entire thing. For those who found this post though, they were searching high and low for updates, and even going so far as to branch out past the Creepy Encounters community itself. That was when one user posted on the RBI subreddit and asked, "Has there been an update on the girl who may have found a hidden camera in the bathroom of her friend's house?" And not long after that, Mutual Butterfly responded. OP here. Hi everyone, I'm so sorry if I worried anyone and I apologize for not updating. I don't usually go on Reddit as much, but the support is overwhelming, so thank you. As for an update, I don't know if they contacted authorities at all regarding the camera. My friend told me that he told his mother and that they contacted a lawyer friend who would help them, but he hasn't told me anything since then. But I want to refrain from talking too much about this situation because lawyers are now involved, so I don't want to accidentally say the wrong thing, so I will stick to what I know is true. As for what was on the camera, it was videos of people using the bathroom, his sister and my friend, but black screen audio only videos that didn't record anything worth speaking about. I also want to ask for a bit of respect towards his family. I saw a lot of comments speaking badly about my friend and his father, and I'd just like to say that we don't know who did it. It's okay to have opinions, but please keep them a bit more less mean, please. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll answer as much as I can, and I promise to stay on Reddit all night to answer them. The poster who asked the question on the RBI subreddit followed up with this to OP's response. What exactly was his dad's excuse for the box being plugged into the bathroom, pointed at the toilet and the shower? If you could go into detail about that excuse, I'm sure a lot of us are interested in hearing it. Sure, no problem. So looking back at the text messages, my friend said this exactly. I talked to my father about it, and he said that his friend at work let him borrow it over a year ago, and he didn't know. I don't know what to believe. I told him that he needs to find out everything possible about the supposed man that lent him the block, and my mom wants to go to the police with the camera regardless. She also told her lawyer friend, and she's going to help us with the whole process. The thing connected to it was his portable battery that he was charging. After that, he came over to my house to talk to me about it, and he showed me what was on the 32GB SD card. I also explained to him that when I first found the charger, it had a hidden glass slide that hid the SD card. Basically, in order to access the card, you need to slide it off, press down on the SD card, and it pops out perfectly. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the original post, so forgive me if I didn't. It was a bad time, and I was freaking out. In my opinion, the father is a bit weird, but in no way do I believe he is smart enough to pull something like that. He's very old and not tech savvy at all. My friend must basically do everything for him, and he only speaks Spanish. He doesn't understand any English at all. Christ, my friend must explain to him how to use a phone, so I don't know. I don't think it's possible for him to pull something like this off. And to explain why his bed was frantic and had cords all over his bed, my friend explained that his dad does this all the time. I'm guessing because he probably has a bad memory and can't remember where he placed something. But again, this is my opinion as of right now. My friend hasn't updated me anymore on what's happened. I don't know if they are going to trial or investigating anything, and I'm guessing the lawyer maybe doesn't want that either. I don't know. I'm seeing my friend this weekend and I could ask him for an update and see. Others then began giving their own input on the matter as well. OP should be aware that people who are normally not tech savvy or lacking in a skill can be extremely motivated to learn a narrow set of skills in order to act out their predatory urges. Also, pedophiles often collaborate, hence the term ring. They share resources, skills, connections, images, videos, and victims. So it is possible that the colleague exists, but it is a fellow sexual predator in cahoots with her friend's dad or another family member with access to the bathroom. Bottom line is that it is a big coincidence that an innocent person would plug an electrical device into charge in a bathroom. A bedroom or living area would make sense, but a bathroom is not most people's first choice of a charging location. If the family doesn't take this to the police themselves, then OP should seriously consider doing so. OP is a victim of this and a key witness. They do not need their permission or agreement to go to the cops. OP also has a responsibility to other victims and potential victims to ensure that this is reported and stopped. I do not believe the dad got it from a friend at all. It could very well be a possibility that he was given the block. I trust your opinion. You know the family and I don't. But I just hope that you are careful from here on out when visiting. And if you happen to come across something similar again, that you would take it to the authorities yourself. Everything that was coming from these posts was creating more and more suspicion on the father, and more so his supposed co-worker. The fact that this co-worker fled the country shortly after may have a lot to do with this, or nothing at all. I have seen firsthand how easy it is to snowball something to a point where people are taking theories on the matter as fact and not questioning anything else. The fact that OP had been so open with all of those wanting more information speaks a lot about her wanting to get to the bottom of all of this as well. Because to some, this may be something as simple as a creepy old man wanting to spy on people, and as disturbing as that is, it could be something much bigger than anyone expected, at least at first. Going back to what one commenter said, that pedophiles often share their content and use it for trading with others. This could in fact be the case, or it could be the furthest thing from the truth. Unfortunately, the story of Mutual Butterfly ends there. Since the date of this upload, there have been no new posts on the case, and that could be due to what was mentioned by her earlier, that lawyers had gotten involved, and knowing how slow the justice system moves, it could very well be likely that this case is still ongoing, and legally OP cannot talk about it anymore. Or it could be that she simply wants to put it behind her and move on. Whatever the case is, I hope for many of you, this is a warning to always be aware of your surroundings, especially in new areas. If you get the gut feeling something is wrong or off, then maybe you need to listen to that, because you never know. You may not be as alone as you think. r/Ask Reddit is one of the largest subreddits on the site, and with its over 30 million members, it is frequently mentioned in various Reddit-themed videos, ranging from creepy, funny, unexplainable, and everything in between. I myself have lost hours getting sucked into the wild and random things people want to know, and the discussions that follow. There was one post though that I came across last year, and I wanted so badly to make an entire video on it, yet there unfortunately wasn't enough information on the matter. It did deliver one hell of a punch though, and I felt it would be a solid send-off for part 1 of this series. Years ago, user Larry Gullinger made a post asking people what was the scariest or creepiest thing that ever happened to them. The entries ranged from peeping toms to home invasions, and as bothersome as those were, there was one entry by a since deleted account that described their regretful decision to stay at a seedy motel and how they almost paid the ultimate price. Years ago, I was on a cross-country trip, solo, to a family reunion. I was supposed to make it to a friend's house, but there was horrible weather. Then a terrible accident happened just ahead of me, and I was stuck for quite a while. All told, I was 5 hours behind schedule. I was exhausted, in need of a bathroom and a shower, so I pulled into a little strip motel off of a back road. It was very small and dirty, but it would work in a pinch. There was a window to the outside where check-in was. The guy there eyed me up and down and asked me if I was traveling alone. I went to hand him my ID and credit card, but he insisted cash only. Red flags were going off at this point, but I scrounged together just enough cash and he tossed me the key. The room was dirty and barely bigger than the bed. The first thing I did was go to the bathroom. Then I flipped the mattress. Dirty, signs of bed bugs, and a moment later, I spied a cockroach. That was it, I was out. I decided I would use the parking space at least and sleep in the back trunk hatch of my SUV. I curled up using my suitcase for a pillow and random clothes for a blanket and fell asleep for about an hour. I woke up aware of someone talking on a phone outside, and I glanced out to see the guy from the check-in standing outside. It was now around 3 o'clock in the morning. He finished his call and then walked quietly over to my room, unlocked the door, and walked in. The lights didn't turn on, and a minute or two later, he came back out, slamming the door behind him and cursing with another guy. I hadn't seen Guy 2 enter, so I still don't know where he came from. They angrily talked for a moment, then check-in guy walked over to my SUV. I covered up my head quickly with a shirt. After he tried the locked door, he peered inside the back seat, but between my tinted windows and blending into the general mess, he didn't notice me in the hatch. The two guys walked away to the far side of the lot. Talking more, one of them began gesturing across the street where a diner was. While they were distracted, I climbed up to the front seat and started up the SUV. They turned around in surprise as I pulled away. I called my friends back home and told them, but didn't want to worry my family, so I said nothing to them. When I got back home some 3 weeks later, we figured out the name of the hotel thanks to Google Maps and called the local police. They told me the place had closed only days before I called. Edit. This was about a decade ago. Took place along 250, I believe in Virginia. The place was named Mountaintop or Mountainside Motel. It was a single short building, check-in window was in the middle, there was a tiny diner across the street, and there were no other businesses nearby. My logic was that it was smarter than parking by the side of the road. Police took my info, but they never called me back, and I never found out anything from web searches immediately afterwards. And at least one friend thought I misunderstood the situation and that there was a logical reason. It goes without saying that whoever that poster was, that she escaped with her life. And I don't even want to imagine what those two men had planned. What chilled me the most was the second man coming out of the room. Hell, even now as I'm saying this, I'm getting chills from it. Friends, if you ever find yourself in a situation where a seedy motel is your best choice of sleeping, then I urge you to instead find a well-lit rest area, sleep in your car with the doors locked and the engine running. Don't make the same mistake that this poster did, because you may not be as lucky. This was the first entry in a series that I am very excited about. I have many more stories from Reddit I have saved over the past year, and I hope that you are all looking forward to the next installment in Reddit Rabbit Holes. I will be linking all the posts in the description below, and if you are able to find out any more information on them, then mention them in the comments. I would also love to know what you all think about these entries, and if you have come across any Reddit posts that you'd like me to investigate, then feel free to email me or message me on Instagram. I will be sure to investigate all of them. Remember to stay safe out there, friends. Good night.